we are using the F6S platform for this. I will go through this and take a bit more time for some of the points explaining what we really want to see from you. You can access it via our website. There's an open call web page if you click on apply now, or directly on the F6S platform. If you go on the F6S platform, you will find more or less this page. I'm going to show you just on the slides the first thing you see when you register. To gain a bit more time, I will then go directly to the content of what is required. So you will see something like, okay, welcome to F6S, where you can connect via your Facebook, LinkedIn, or with only your email if you don't want to link all your accounts. You will see, okay, let's get started. Means you need to create your team, start a profile. So what is the name of your team? You create that. You can invite other people. So in this case, TestWare is the name I created to just to show you the screenshots. Then you can invite people. That's going to be the other members of your team. So we'd expect at least another person that you would invite, but there's no upper limit to the number of people. And then you will be on the website, on the F6S platform. And this will look a bit like that. So again, this is the Renaissance. It's just a startup profile I've created to test a few things and to show you. Basically, you have three main types of information to fill in. The basic information, information related to the team, and then the questions that are part of your application. Very important for you to understand a bit how the platform works and how we are using it in our process. Basic information and the information to update your team. That's something that is like the regular questions asked by F6S platform. The F6S platform is really a huge platform with more than 1.5 million users, but it is aimed mainly at startups. Very convenient to handle the open calls. That's why we're using it, but don't be too annoyed by the vocabulary used. Okay, it is aimed at other types maybe of users than what you are. So basically startup, whereas you are maybe an artist. But you should not. I will explain to you how you can adapt it a bit, especially in the two first categories. So the first type of information, it's basic information. As I was saying, again, the F6S is aimed at startups. So it first starts with the first short description of startup. Okay, you don't have to do that. And also something I will repeat 2 or 3 times. What is in basic information, what is in the team information, that's not what we use as core to evaluate. Most of the questions are mandatory. I also don't think it takes so long to fill in, to be honest. Some are a bit repeating what comes afterwards. But the evaluation, 99% of it is based on the what is under questions. So that's why I will go very briefly about this. So short description of startup, it just means description of your team. Okay, what do you do is more to know about your own expertise. There is a question, for example, about the markets. Well, we don't expect the team or yourself as an individual to be necessarily selling already a product, but it's more like, okay, what are the usages or the potential usages you have in mind for your prototype? It's anyway something you need to think about also for the main questions. Then we arrive at two questions that may not be so easy: the product demo video and the mobile app but that's something that is not mandatory. As you see, there's no star next to it, so it's not a mandatory a question. If I go to the team, then updating the team, you have a certain number of information to provide about the people, for each of the people that are going to apply with you. We think it's rather standard. Okay, to tell us something amazing you built, the vocabulary may be a bit over the top. It's okay, if you have an idea here, okay, again, it's not mandatory, and that's not something we're going to look at when we are to evaluate your application. Now we go to the questions, the 14 questions that are really core and that you should really take time to answer to. Well, first thing again, they are all important, but of course, again, the ones that do not have any star are not mandatory. Usually, it's a bit better to respond to them, but if you don't respond, it doesn't mean you're not going to be selected. Please also note, but automatically it will be cut anyway, but to not have a bad surprise if you're applying on the last day, for example. Please note that you also have a limitation in the number of characters. Importantly, also, you see this locker here. This locker is telling telling you that the status of the information you're providing here contrary to the rest. The information on updating your team and the basic information, it's information that you provide to F6S. Information that is here in question, it's information that is going to remain private between us, us in this case, of course, including the reviewers that are going to review each of the applications that are going to be proposed. So, okay, let's just follow the thing. I will be maybe very fast on some of them, just ask a question in the chatter box if it's not clear, but I think for the first one there's not so much to ask. So describing the proposal, describing the team, and especially how then the collaboration should take place, either based on past experiences or if it's a new team also on how just you envision this collaboration to take place. Uploading the CV of every team member, so that's one file with all the sorry, with all the CVs on it. The project pitch, follow the need, approach, benefit, competition approach. Of course, this may look more like an economic point of view, especially the notion of competition. Keep more in mind that it's to help the reviewers and in the end the WEAR system project to help choose which prototypes are the most interesting. So we need to know which one are the most innovative, and for us to evaluate that, we first need to know how you position yourself compared to others. If you deliberately just want to do the same thing as somebody else, well, fine, but maybe that's not what we want to fund. We want to fund something that is original and innovative compared to what already exists. Next step after the project pitch is the prototype plan. So the question 9 is about technology readiness level. I have one slide that summarizes it well, so I will not dwell on it here. And also note that this one is not a mandatory question. We have done a question about describing the prototype and project plan. That's the long one compared to the first set of questions in the pitch. This is more about the implementation. So of course we like great ideas, but we want to be sure that during the 6 months you know what you're aiming at. Of course, this is kind of a research development process. Not everything can be foreseen, but still well, as you know, it's a public money, so we should be to some extent adverse to risk too. So be confident that you know what you want to do. You can then, if needed, upload a prototype plan. It's especially because there you can put a clearer timeline usually. Also, I don't know, a table with the budget that you cannot, the decision, and to write it down. Next step is the business ID. Again, maybe don't stick too much to the word business here. Of course, if you have a commercialization plan after the 6 months of support, that's great. If you don't, it doesn't mean we're not going to select you. There are two aspects to what we limit a bit here to the notion of business. It's well, first, indeed, if you want to sell something, but then it's more like, okay, you have an idea of what is going to take place after the 6 months. Is it go further working on the prototype, selling the prototype, deriving some ideas from the prototype, and so we want to know a bit what you want to do after. So again, it's written also go to market. Here it's market in the sense of have potential uses of what you want to develop, really. And then finally, for this business idea, you need to provide a video to explain a bit the project, the plan, the business idea, a bit summarizing what you've done before, but in a video format, a short video format. It doesn't need to be HD quality, but the sound and the image just need to be very clear. And finally, 2 points about the submission. The first one is the required project support and implementation services in the up to 50K, because maybe you need less, that you can receive if you are selected. There will be at least 10 to 15K that we ask you to spend for services. We think that, of course, we're going to select brilliant people with brilliant projects, but you may make use of some support anyway. We are building, we're finalizing now the portfolio of services for the first open call, hubs, mentors, and other experts that can help you. It's good already if you have an idea about, okay, in this team we are very strong in this and that, but we have no legal expertise, for example. Or in the other way around, like we are wondering about this very precise question, business question, or in terms of ethics and sustainability, is it somewhere where we could get some support? What you're going to write here, we cannot guarantee 100% that you will get it, because also maybe we will think that it's not a good idea. It's going to be more in a discussion with the selected teams. Okay, we think you should do this and that based on what you propose, and so on. And finally, there's something about recommendation. This is outside of what we ask. It's more an F6S ID, and why not? That you can ask for recommendation from people who are already registered on F6S, or you can enter their mail and they will see that. The only important point you need to know at this point is that if you ask to say, okay, I want to be endorsed by this or that person, they are not going to see all the information that was here before. Of course, they are going to see, I've been asked to endorse this or that, but not the whole thing. So I'm already a bit late. If I go back to the slides here, a few variable points. Okay. First, variable point about the technology readiness level. Well, the slide is not complex, but there's quite some content in that, so I'm not going to read all the points in there. Our partner has tried to really map the TRL, the usual TRL scale, a standard one, with what we expect. So we are really trying to make it fit more to the projects we want to select. Again, I'm not going to discuss everything now. You will receive the slides by tomorrow. I hope also the video of all this by tomorrow, and then you can see, go more, take more time and see a bit. Okay, what does it really mean in my case where I'm trying to develop this or that? What we want to fund is prototypes that are at least 3. They can be 4 also. For them to develop until level 6 or 7. Obviously, if you aim at the end to have much more and you are able to prove that you can do that, fine to us. But we don't expect that most teams will be able to jump, I don't know, from 3 to 9. Well, I think it's already well explained. But if you have questions, do not hesitate. We have themes for the call. Not going. Well, I could spend 5 or 10 minutes on each of them if we don't have time for this now. But you see the different themes for environment, use, reuse, and waste. More on bodies, thematics, energy, health. More on the data, and then there's also an open category, because of course we don't pretend that that in our consortium we know everything about all the themes that could be interesting in our view. To summarize a bit the application structure, and that's especially the questions I was talking about, and you see then at overall it's more or less like a 10-page application. We've tried to make it rather short. It's a maximum. You don't have to necessarily fill the 10 pages, and our reviewers will be very happy if you're able to do as good with fewer pages.